Accounting department is one of the important departments within a business organization. Accounting is the systematic of recording, reporting, and analysis of financial transactions within a business. In other words, accounting is about recording and prepare the financial reports to the business owners and the related stakeholders about what performance or what are the financial performance of the business. To do that, we should have a structure for accounting department in order to perform the duties and roles of the department. Here is an overall picture of the accounting department. In larger organizations, the range of tasks that the accounting function needs to perform is very wide. Here we just show a brief picture of the key accounting functions within the department. And we will start the discussion of each role one by one. First, let's go through the head of the department, which is the finance director. Finance director is the key person in accounting departments in order to monitor the functions of the department to ensure it can perform the required task as detailed in the job scope. And the major responsibility of the finance director includes such as debt equity structure. It means that the financing decision should be proposed and finalized by the finance director with the board of management. How much of the capital should be raised through debt, or how much of the capital should be raised through equity? That's the debt and equity structure. And next, financial measurement of commercial success. In order to determine whether the business is financially sound or success, financial measurement is one of the key elements to do that. And finance director is responsible on preparing the financial reports to the board of management and other stakeholders relevant to the financial performance. And then it's about resource allocation. It's not just about money, it's about the efficiency. Let's say whether we should hire the vendor for the logistic arrangement, or we should use internal resources by hiring the talent in logistics to do the jobs by our own. Here is about the resource allocation. The finance director should propose the best or the most efficient way to do it in terms of monetary terms. And also the finance director is responsible for planning and acquisitions of divestments. It means that the finance director should advise the board or the CEO, the chief executive officer, on whether the proposed acquisition is financially sound, and any of the divestment should be done because of, say, improved overall efficiency or for improve the cash flow as well. Here is one of the key responsibilities for finance director in the acquisitions and divestments. Also, finance director is also responsible for dividend policy. In other words, he should advise the board of the management on how much of the profit should be retained in the organization and how much can be distributed to the shareholders. The goal is to keep the adequate resources for future expansion and development and growth, but at the same time, finance director need to consider the shareholders' return as well. Last but not the least, finance director is also responsible for the relationship between the shareholder and the company, as well as the financial press and the company as well. And then we have 4 different subdivisions of accounting departments under finance director. The first one is the financial accounting division, which is headed by the chief accountant. Chief accountant is responsible for financial accounting and auditor relationship, And we will go through in the details for financial accounting in our following of the class. And another division under finance director is management accounting, which is headed by the management accountant. Management accountant should provide the information which is used for internal decision making. So management accountant is to provide the management information and accounting, which include the budget and forecasting, and also include the internal financial structure and control. These are two major works or major tasks for management accountants to do on a daily basis. He or she needs to prepare the forecast or the budget for the company, and also he or she should propose any improvement in the financial structure and controls procedures, which is aiming to have the most efficient way to do the business in the commercial operations. Sometimes management accountant need to work out the investment appraisal analysis. The management accountant will get the involvement in the capital budgeting or fixed assets financing. In other words, once the company decides to buy a fixed asset, the management accountant should advise whether this investment is financially acceptable or not acceptable. Another role under finance director, which is also in accounting department, is treasury, which is headed by the treasurer. He or she needs to help finance director to determine the debt and equity ratio. That means the treasurer needs to consider about the debt strategy for the company as a whole. Apart from it, he or she needs to work with the bank for currency management and working capital management. That means for any foreign exchange issues, the treasurer needs to propose to the finance directors on whether the foreign exchange should be managed by different hedging tools, for example, in order to minimize the foreign exchange rate risk. And also the treasurer needs to work on the working capital management. Here is about the operations, to see whether the operations can generate the positive operating cash flow. Treasurer needs to work closely with different departments on the working capital management. For example, he or she needs to consider whether the account receivables is too high or is too large for the company to work. If yes, treasurer needs to propose any alternatives to solve the large account receivables situations in order to improve the overall liquidity of the company. For here, treasurer needs to work on investment appraisal. Once the management accountant work out the investment appraisal by showing whether it is financially acceptable, treasurer needs to work closely with the management accountant about the source of finance for the investment. It's also about the debt strategy and equity strategy. In order to improve the investment return of a project, treasurer need to propose the most acceptable or the best capital structure on financing the investment. And then treasurer needs to work with bank in the banking forecasting and also the risk management. It's not just the banking relationship. The treasurer needs to work closely with the bank to ensure the company enjoys the most favorable interest rate as well as the most favorable foreign exchange rate with the bank. The last function under the accounting department is taxation. It's headed by the tax manager. Tax manager needs to do the tax strategy or tax planning in order to minimize the tax. There should not be any tax avoidance or evasion, but the tax manager should use all possible tools and planning to mitigate the tax impact for the company. Apart from the tax planning and strategy, tax manager need to ensure all activities all commercial activities within the company should comply with the tax law.